Comparing Italy and Greece's Culture by Daniel Brous. Slide. So hi guys, my name's Daniel. I've been attending HEC for 2 years now. This is my first time taking a summer course, and I've really actually enjoyed it so far. I've enjoyed the whole thing. It's almost over, but um, self-learning has definitely been something I've learned to like, and I might take advantage of online courses in the future. But I'm currently on the path of finishing my associate's degree in general studies, and I think I'm going to transfer somewhere local in the spring, possibly Salisbury or Towson. And the picture I put on here is kind of a goofy little picture, but this is me on a swinging bridge in Costa Rica this past week. Took a family trip down there. It was a lot of fun. All right, so let's get into it here. The topic, I decided to compare the cultures of Greece and Italy. I chose these two countries because I find them both to be very aesthetically pleasing when it comes to their buildings, their cliffs. The food's amazing as well, and I believe they both have very rich cultures when it comes to their architecture and art. Um, they have many similarities when it comes to their religion, um, their culture, architecture specifically. Um, I just thought it'd be interesting to compare the two. And the main ideas I wanted to express are the art, which has been influenced by each side. Actually, Greece has taken art from Italy. Italy's taken art from Greece. They've copied each other's styles, and the same thing for architecture. And I also wanted to compare the governments as well, um, the differences and the similarities. And also being neighboring countries, this should be an interesting comparison because they've copied a lot of each other's styles. Okay, so the art aspect here. Italy and Greece have learned from each other's tactics as early as the 8th century. The Greek Hellenic period had much to do with how Italy developed their art. The Italians admired Greece for their interpretation of the human body in war. So Greek art was very focused on the human body, whether it was self-portraits or marble sculptures of the human body. They wanted to be as detailed as possible, and they thought the human body was something beautiful. And they also emphasized the art of war. They like to picture war, um, similar to. I don't want to bring the U.S. into this, but there's a lot of U.S. You know, art when it comes to the Civil War, any historical um, battles. But it was similar over there as well, just a lot earlier in history. Um, Also, Greek art was very focused on the mythology aspect of it, the Greek gods and their art. Um, Also, Italy, especially in Rome, was more focused on current events and actual figures in society. Um, Military leaders and the deceased, they actually would paint murals for the recently deceased, even if you were powerless. And there would be services held for each, deceased individual, regardless of your role in society. But they wanted their art to depict their everyday life, simple, elegant pieces. It could be as simple as a grapevine or a tree. They just wanted to define beauty through their art. Um, Also, the Italians were very into the religious aspect of art. Pictured below is the Last Supper, and this is one of the most famous pieces of art in history, and it was done by an Italian artist, Leonardo da Vinci. Next slide here. The architecture. In Italy, there are buildings called forums that were basically used as meeting places for the higher ups, and it was a symbol of power in the city. So the picture below is kind of, you could describe it as a forum because it has these big, tall columns around the outside, usually marble, and it was in a rectangular shape for the most part. Um, so the creation of these structures dated back all the way back to Alexander the Great's time, and they were very common in both Italy and Greece. In Greece, they were called agoras, however. And as I said before, the architecture of the Romans was mostly inspired by Greece. They just had slight preferences that the Italians preferred. Italians like to have accents at the top of their columns, whether it was little leaves or something that would curl off, and usually the Greek sculptors kept it rounded, like a cylinder at the top. And the Italians created the Colosseum, which is like a dome-like structure. It was basically a stadium. It was a stadium. Um, it was it was a stadium for just huge events, whether it was sport or just plays or anything. It would draw huge crowds. Um, yeah, basically it was a sport. It was a sporting event, and the whole thing would be filled up, and crowds would be going crazy, like a sporting event nowadays. And the Parthenon and the Pantheon were temples in Greece and have a forum-like structure. Also, below is the Pantheon, and this is in the heart of Greece here. Next slide here. The governments. The ancient Greek government consisted mostly of democracies, which were led by male citizens. Um, Similar to government today, however, it was just males who had a say in the government. If a democracy did not seem to work out, an oligarchy, which was a small circle of men, led the nation. But however, if that didn't work out, a tyranny would occur, which was very rare, I'd say, um, because the other two would usually work out. But a tyranny is just a single man leading the nation. An Italian government was very similar, actually, but their title was a mixed government, which was a combination of a democracy and an aristocracy, which Aristotle introduced. So yeah, nothing going on with inheritance to a position in government for these two countries. It was mostly um, elected by the citizens. Next slide here. And here are the worldviews of the two countries. The Greeks believe they revolved around Plato, a famous philosopher, Greek philosopher. He believed the way you acted and treated your equals would later come back to you, basically stating if you're a kind, caring person, others will treat you as so. Also, it was important to respect the mythical gods, and Christianity also played a large part in the everyday Greek person's life. The Italians had a different outtake on life. Um, there were Romans who were very important piece of society. They kept everything going. They were basically like the police of Rome. And then you had the barbarians who basically were animals and would fend for themselves in any manner to feed themselves or to find clothing or anything. They would do anything for it. um, except for pay. Really, they would fend for themselves and be rebels. Um, but however, any Italian man should be powerful and witty, as well as the Greeks. They were very charming and charismatic. That's all I got. So I really had a fun time researching and learning about these two countries. Ooh, there. Ooh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go back to this last part here. I just want to say I really enjoyed the semester and what's going on here? Oh, sorry guys, I'm terribly sorry. Very unprofessional. I just want to say I really enjoyed the semester and I did find differences actually in the two countries because they're so similar um, in everything. Um, but I hope everyone was able to learn off my information, my research, and I wish everyone the best and a great rest of their summer and good luck on the final.